Imagine you walk into a cozy cafe looking for that favorite cup of coffee or cup of tea, but the barista doesn't just hand you your cup or your order. Instead, you're greeted with a warm smile. They inquire about your day. They even remember your name from the last interaction, your last visit. How does that make you feel? Valued, right? Well, in this particular episode, I'm going to dive into the world that is the most elusive, but yet wonderful world of customer service. Let's dive in. Welcome to Work It, Live It, Own It, a show that explores how to upgrade your lifestyle through life lessons, real estate, and entrepreneurship. Here's your hostess, SaCola Lair. All right, everyone. So welcome back to the Work It, Live It, Own It podcast. This podcast is the place to be that empowers you to achieve greatness in your personal and professional life. And guys, let me just tell you, I'm doing this podcast episode off the cuff. And the reason why is because I have been dealing with a company who has provided me some of the worst customer service that I have ever encountered in my adult life. I think in my life in general, they take top tier. And the reason why is because I have had to call multiple times. I can't tell you how many people I have spoken with trying to get things sent to me by email after they have taken my money. Okay. You give them the money first, and then there's a delay into giving you what you've asked for. And then another issue has popped up recently in the past couple of days. But I'm not here to bash them. What I'm here to do and what has prompted me to do is to actually talk about something that is so important, something that can actually make or break your business. It can. Lack of good customer service. And so I gave you that example because a lot of people can sympathize or familiarize with going to get one of their favorite drinks, right? Going the extra mile is something that I think is so vital. And I'm going to cover 4 areas with you today. But going the extra mile is most important. And the reason why I say going the extra mile should be one of the first steps is because that is what produces a loyal client base. If you're here for just the transaction piece, then this may not be the right podcast for you. Okay. What I'm going to talk about today is ways that you can improve your customer service. So by going the extra mile, I'm going to give you an example. This is something that a lot of people hold in their possession right now, and it's a cell phone. If you're watching this on YouTube, you might see some examples, but I'm actually holding my cell phone right now. I have been with the same cell phone company since my late teens. Matter of fact, it was named another company, but this major brand has bought that company out long time ago. And I always say that I will stick with them until I can't stick with them anymore. And I've been thinking about switching to another cell phone provider. And my husband has asked me countless of times, well, why don't you switch? Why don't you switch? And I will tell you why. It is because even when I think about going to another cell phone provider, I'll go back to my company and I'll say, I've been a very long time loyal customer, and the rates that I'm receiving right now, I'm not too pleased with. And what can you do to assist me? Because if I go over here, they're promising me this, this, and this. But I would like to stay with you guys because you've been so well, you treated me so well, but I'm not willing to pay that amount. Each and every time I have found a customer service rep who has I've spoken to nowadays, you can barely talk to a person over the phone. You have to chat with them. But even still, they've been able to provide me with great customer service in various ways that I could actually speak to someone, which has allowed me to stay. Now, do I pay the highest prices anymore? No, I don't. I actually have a really good deal with the cell phone provider, but it's because they go the extra mile to make sure that their longtime loyal customers are satisfied and pleased. I'll give you another prime example. There is a place that I go to and I shop there. Matter of fact, this dress that I'm wearing right now is by that particular company. I go there. Why? Because they support educators. They provide educator discounts. Not too many businesses will do that. And or if I order something, the quality of my clothes are great. There was one time I ordered a dress recently and it came and shipped to the store, which if I order it and it ships to the store, I have received free shipping instead of getting it shipped to my house. There was makeup on my dress. It was already wrapped up in a plastic wrap, but when I went to try my dress on in the store, it had makeup on it. I called one of the ladies in the store and I said, "Hey, I'm not wearing makeup today, but there's makeup on this dress and my dress is white." And so the manager came in and she looked at it and she was like, "Oh yeah, no." She said, "This is not even your shade." She was like, "This is a peachy shade." She said, "Who on earth would try on this dress? Maybe someone tried it on and returned it and they didn't notice this or mark it." So immediately she gets on the phone to see what she can do. Customer service is not even open on the weekends. So she's calling higher ups that she knows to try and resolve it. Immediately, another lady goes and gets a Tide stick. She gets a Tide stick and tries to get the makeup stain out of the dress while I'm standing there. And because I see what they're doing by going the extra mile, I tell them, I say, "You know what? I need this dress. I need it by a certain time. There's no guarantee that I may get this dress before the end of the month. So, because I see that it's coming out, I will just go ahead and take this dress and I will take care of it. But it does look like the makeup stain was coming out." And because I did that and not, and it's not about inconveniencing them, I paid for the dress. They knocked an additional $10 off or gave me a $10 credit because I've already paid for the dress and gave me a $10 credit back to my account because I was willing to take that dress because I saw how hard they were working. That instills loyalty when you see people going above and beyond. I'll give you another example. I went into a local coffee shop, and I go and get tea because I'm not a coffee drinker, but they have this wonderful tea called Sick tea. And my first interaction with the cashier was, "Are you a firefighter, a police officer, a public service worker?" And I said, "I'm an educator." "Oh, no, well, we don't give discounts to educators because my father didn't make it past the eighth grade and he had a bad experience in school. So we don't provide discounts to educators." First time in the store. Okay. Now, was that my issue? Was that my problem? No. Did I feel bad for her father because he had a bad experience in school? Absolutely. But it made me think twice about even going back. And so one time my sinuses and allergies were so bad, but I remember that tea was so good and it could just take care of that respiratory issue real quick. I said, "You know what? I'm just going to bite the bullet and go back in here and grin and bear it. I just want my tea." I go back in. That same person is at the register. And I'm like, "Oh boy, here we go." She sees me. She remembers me and says, "You know what? I remember you because the last time you were here, I told you the story about my dad. Don't you know my dad was here one day and he heard me tell that same story to someone else because another educator asked me that question. After that customer left, he pulled me to the side and told me, I did finish high school. I graduated. I just had a bad experience from a teacher who told me that I wasn't going to amount to anything other than being a garbage man. And here this man is a veteran and now an owner of his own coffee shop. And she apologized. But because that apology leads me to my second example, turning mistakes into opportunities. Taking ownership of mistakes that you make. We are in an imperfect world full of imperfect people and systems. We are going to trip up. We are going to make mistakes. We are never going to say the right thing always at the right time. But taking ownership of our mistakes goes leaps and bounds above than you just sit up here just going, oh, yeah, well, yeah, that's what I said. Or completely ghosting someone or ignoring them and never owning up to the fact that you made a mistake, or never saying the two words, I'm sorry, or I apologize. I made a mistake. Take ownership. Take the opportunity to take mistakes and turn them into opportunities. And when you do that, guys, listen, people genuinely are good at heart and they will probably give you another chance. Some will, not everyone will. But again, turn your mistakes into opportunities. The next one is empathy and connection. This example, I'm going to share this example. I'm going to read this example because it was very touching when I read it. And it's a heartwarming story about a woman named Mary. She is a receptionist at a wellness center. And a woman named Emily visited the center after losing her job. And Emily felt so defeated and so low. Mary sensed her distress and took time to sit down and be a listening ear for Emily. And then gave some words of encouragement to her. You know, that one simple act of empathy not only brought comfort to Emily, but also inspired her to take charge of her life. She eventually landed a new job. And you know what? She attributes her turnaround to the support and kindness she received from Mary. The other part is the ripple effect. How does good customer service provide a ripple effect? Well, let me tell you, when you demonstrate great or stellar customer service and you're not treating people like transactions, you may have heard that term, people over transactions. May mean sometimes that your business may not take off like a rocket as quickly as you see other people. But what you do allow space for is genuinely caring about the people you're working with or for. And you're building something that a lot of businesses lack. Something that one cell phone company has or tech company has. And that's loyalty. You create loyal advocates who spread the word about your business. And let me tell you, there's nothing faster than bad news, right? Nothing faster spreads faster than gossip. Now, it could be true, it could be good, it could also be bad. And I never forget when I started in my real estate business journey, I was hearing other realtors buying leads from this program, from that program, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I wanted to build my business organically. And I thought about paying for some leads and I tried one and it didn't work out. And a colleague of mine, who is a woman of few words, she heard me say this and her head was down and she went, mm-mm, word of mouth. And I said, excuse me? She said, that's how you build your business. Word of mouth. Nothing is faster, nothing is more effective than word of mouth. Because not only are you promoting yourself and your businesses and your services, but people are promoting what their experience was like using your product, your services, or working with you. That's the ripple effect. If you're watching this video on Spotify or YouTube, take a look behind me. I'm going to move my head this way. There's a painting that I have up on the wall. That painting is a painting of me. That came from a client that I worked with. It took some time to work with them to get them to the finish line, but I stuck with them. And it took almost a year for them to reach the finish line. They had some goals. There may have been some stumbling blocks along the way, but I was there with them every step of the way. I provided them with the resources that they needed. They took action, they took ownership, and they took action, and they reaped great consequences. They wanted a new build, but they couldn't get a new build because it wasn't in their because that home, new construction home wasn't in their budget. And guys, I apologize if there's a glitch because I had some technical issues, but you know what? We're going to keep going. We're going to keep moving. So please forgive me. But I just brought that up because in that example of working with my clients, it's so important for me to go above and beyond because, like I said, a colleague of mine said word of mouth is so important. Word of mouth can either harm or reap great results in your business. And there's nothing faster than word of mouth. So again, that ripple effect is so important. It's so vital in your business. But most importantly, here's what I want you to take away today. I want you to embrace the art of customer service. It starts with a smile. It starts with active listening. Some people may call it mirroring. And when I say mirroring, I mean you listen to someone say something and you may catch the end part of that and you're like, oh, so and so and so. And they go, yes. And they may go into more detail. Pay attention. Be quick about listening and slow about speaking. You don't need to talk all the time. But what you do say, make it full of empathy, make it impactful, make it meaningful where it touches someone's life. So smile, active listening, personalized attention. Treat each customer as if they were your only customer. And then that is where the wonderful world of customer service can begin for you. This is also what will set you apart from your competitors because there are multiple cell phone services, like I mentioned. There are multiple clothing stores, clothing boutiques, online stores. There are millions of artists out there that do what they do when it comes to their branding. But it is how you treat people. It is how you interact with them. It is how you make them feel when they are in your presence, in your store, that speaks volumes. So remember, my friends, that exceptional customer service can elevate your business to new heights. I don't care what type of business you're in. The principles remain the same. And by going above and beyond, handling mistakes with grace, taking that ownership, and showing genuine empathy, that is where you're going to begin to forge deep connections with your clients that will stand the test of time. And what I mean by that is you want clients that are going to in turn call you to check on you to see how you're doing. I actually had that a couple of weeks ago. I had clients who closed on a listing, and one of the clients called me. The seller called me to check on me to see how I was doing. That spoke volumes to me. And normally I'm the one that's calling and doing. Or the best thing I could say is When my clients look at me at the end of a transaction, they're saying, "You're not getting rid of us." And I said, "I don't plan on it, because if you need something, you need a contractor in the future, I'm here for you." It doesn't stop at a transaction. Evoke loyalty. And how you evoke loyalty, as Simon Sinek says in his Start With Why book, is how you treat people, understanding your purpose, understanding your why, and being able to translate that over to other people. Then that's when you develop a loyal customer base, and you're not sitting up here trying to go after the next adrenaline rush, the next transaction, because you have people speaking for you, about your business. So when you step into your workplace tomorrow, when you step into your business tomorrow, I want you to remember the power that you hold in your hands. And that is, you can be the next Mary that I mentioned, showing empathy, active listening, actually caring about people, owning your journey to outstanding customer service. Guys, I'm telling you, your business will flourish. Trust me, beyond your wildest dreams. Thank you so much for tuning into this particular episode of Work It, Live It, Own It. If you have found inspiration in some of the examples that I have given today, be sure that you save this episode, download this episode, and share this episode with your fellow entrepreneurs. And as always, don't forget to work it, live it, own it in your everyday life. Take care. Bye for now.